Morning, welcome to Rally Classics, and today I'm going to show you something that we had in stock last year and we sold to a nice chap called George, and it's come back for a few little bits and bobs in the workshop, and there it is. I don't know whether you who follow my channel can remember the little green British Open Mini, looking slightly different now. We did change the trim last year for George into this lovely leather trim we actually had in stock, and I didn't think it would suit the car, but it does. Anyway, he's brought it back. He had an issue with the windows, the window winders weren't working, so we've shot that in the workshops for him, and Mark recently put a new roof on for him, and he's just asked us to put some decals on. So there you have it, the little green Mini returns.
So finally, the bubble car that we've had in the workshop for months, we're taking out for its first test drive, and he's away. Look at Mark in that little bubble car. And a few problems with the gear selection on it, but I think he'd stamp that. It's certainly pulling alright, but I'm just going to be behind him in the defender just in case he chucks it. Anyway, we're off up the street, and I think that went alright, you know, for the first test drive. I mean, look at the difference in size, little and large, and I don't mean me and Mark, I mean the bubble car and the defender. But yeah, it went alright, that. So that'll be coming up for sale shortly. And there it goes up the hill, back into the workshop.
Morning, welcome to Rally Classics, and it's a lovely sunny morning, which makes a change. This last week we've had some really strange weather. It's gone from absolutely pouring down every single day since November basically to blistering bait and sunshine. So yesterday, which was Sunday, I decided I'd take a car out for a test drive. I thought I'll take an open top out, it's nice and sunny. Opened the garage doors, and all I saw was basically carnage, because that lot, they come out the ceiling and fell on me TVR. Now, obviously, when I came in, I was totally and utterly shocked. First I thought, I mean, I've got this state-of-the-art cameras, security system, but I thought, you know, has somebody tried to get in through the roof? Don't know what to do if they got in through the roof, to be fair. I couldn't explain any other reason. Never had a problem with the ceiling before, although we did have a leak in the roof a few years back, which is pretty ironic because I own a property maintenance company. But anyway, we got that sorted. You know, people used to come in the garage and the showroom and look up at the roof and think, you know, wow, that ceiling looks fantastic, and it did, and it was put up really good. There's no problems with the way it was installed. But I think what's happened is we have had a roof leak. The insulation has soaked up a lot of water, and we've just had a range of temperatures where we've gone from basically, I don't know, 7 and 8 degrees up to 25, 26, probably 30 degrees on that roof, and it's boiled the roof. And I think the insulation inside's just expanded and pushed the boards off. Because the boards are only pinned on, you see, with a secret nailed. So, I mean, they were like, I think they were 50mm or 60mm pins, the really long pins, but it must have just pushed them out. So, that's that. So, today's first job will be assessing the damage and then seeing where we go. But as for the damage, the TVR, not a scratch on it, and I can't, honestly, I can't believe it. When I looked at that door, when I opened that door and I saw that timber on top of that car, I thought, oh my God. But on closer inspection, the target top, which was brand new, that took the brunt of the timber coming down, and obviously it's cushioned it. And when it has touched the body, with it being fiberglass, there's a little bit of give in it, so it hasn't just been a dead, you know, metal on metal or wood on wood or whatever. It's had a bit of a spring in it, and I think it's basically saved it. So yeah, so it could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse, but just one of them things, isn't it? Anyway, we'll see what to do. So basically, quick update. This morning we went in the showroom and took some other parts of the ceiling down where we were having problems. I think it's convinced myself now that it's condensation. I don't know, somebody who watches my channel might know, but I don't know whether it's the sudden change of air temperature. The boards on the roof are bone dry, the insulation is soaking wet, so I don't know whether it's cold air coming up, warm air coming down and condensing in the cavity. So we're going to fit some air vents, but what I'm going to do first is put a couple of dehumidifiers in. I'm going to dry it out. It's supposed to pour down tomorrow, so we'll get a good idea. If it is a roof leak, we'll know it tomorrow. Yeah. Peugeot main dealers, Patrick Motors, Evesham. That's when car dealers were proud to show off what they did. Those are the days. Talking of the days, this was a bad day for me yesterday, but look at this, all over the showroom floor, fluff, dandelions, time of the year. So what I've decided to do up there is I've decided to leave the ceiling off. You can see it's damp in there. I'm sure this is condensation. So we're going to put a couple of dehumidifiers in here tonight and see if we can dry the place up. We've took our aeroplanes down, beautiful models of aeroplanes. One of Mark's friends, he basically kindly donated this aeroplane. Superb quality. I mean, even if you're not into aeroplanes, you've got to understand the skill that goes into making these things. They're fantastic, aren't they? We've got another bulge in the ceiling there, so what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to put a straight edge across a string line and leave it over the weekend and see if she shrinks. This is a nice car, this Morris, and to be fair, we've had a little bit of interest in her. We've had a couple of people out on test drives, and the one thing put them off, and it would probably put me off as a stranger at the veteran and vintage cars, but as a long-term user, it wouldn't put me off, was the intermittent oil pressure. And I just honestly think it's the nature of the beast. I've said it before, I've made a video about it before, and I definitely think that's the problem with the car. But we're going to Bewley this weekend. I've arranged to meet somebody and we're going to buy a new oil pump for this little cowley, and we'll fit it, and if it improves the situation, all well and good. I mean, look at the interior in there, it's absolutely good. I've said this before, it's just like, the cabins are beautiful, all the nickel plate, absolutely gorgeous. Door cards, the seats, it's headlining is amazing in this car, absolutely amazing. Like I say, I've said it before, it's like a miniature 2025 Rolls Royce. You know, there's a lot of people out there would love to own a big old Rolls Royce but haven't got the space. Well, if you haven't got the space, this is what you should be buying, because it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's got a couple of bits on it here, could do with the dressing not rust, it's just where it's been brush painted. Me personally, I would leave it. This wing here has definitely been brush painted, and I definitely think if you spent a bit of time with it, you could, it's got plenty of paint on, you could wet flat that and get that up. If you were that bothered about it, unbolt it and paint it. You know, what's it going to cost to paint that? A couple £100 or something. There you go, on that side. Absolutely beautiful. And these cars, they've never been as cheap. Honestly, they can't go any lower. And my advice to anybody is buy one now. Small mat on there, chrome there, because these are gonna go up in price. They can't go down, you know, they've got to go up. And good examples like this, where they've had an engine rebuild for £4,000 off Britain's best Morris engine rebuilder, allegedly. They've had a new trim in, they've had all new suspension and running gear. You know, the car's tried and tested. This is what you want to be buying. You don't want to be buying one that's just been pulled out of a barn, because you're going to spend thousands on it and never get your money back. And that's what I try and tell people. I try and tell people, look, buy a car that somebody spent a fortune on, and you won't have to spend that fortune. Yeah, every car has its faults. We've bought concourse cars here, and we've had to put them in the workshops and spend days and thousands on them. So every car has its fault, but you stand a better chance buying something half decent than buying a restoration. Restoring cars doesn't work, period. Unless you're restoring, I don't know, Aston Martins, because to be fair, it just costs the same to paint an Aston Martin as it does a Ford Capri if you want a really good finish. So unless you're doing one-off specialist stuff, Ferraris, Astons, certain rollers and Bentleys, forget it. Run-of-the-mill stuff like Morris Oxfords and Morris Minors and old Austins, just forget it. You know, or yeah, if you like tinkering, that's fine, but you will not make any money out of it. That's a fact. So we're going back in the showroom this morning after yesterday's, well, Sunday's catastrophe where the ceiling all came down. Last night I decided to put a dehumidifier in, well, a couple actually, and we've came in this morning and we found we have another problem on this part of the ceiling, which wasn't a problem at all. So I'm beginning to think, have we got a problem which is underlying either condensation or a water leak? But I'm driven more to the condensation theory that I had. Last night we put the dehumidifier in, has it dried the boards out and they've dropped? Have they always been loose on the fixings and taking the humidity out the air has caused them to drop? Or have they expanded with heat? Usually timber contracts, it doesn't usually expand, it usually contracts with heat and expands with water. I know in the winter, you know, doors always get tight there when it's damp. But what I'm doing is I'm leaving it off. We've got a couple of guys who work for us, a couple of joiners in the construction side, and one of the guys actually who put the ceiling up, he's coming out this morning and just for a few ideas what to do, because I don't want a catastrophe when I'm away in Bewley. Oh, another terrible day today, rainy. Anyway, I want to open the garage up and I want to show you the ceiling in the garage, because last week we had a bit of a catastrophe. Right, we're in there. Oh, I'm gonna flick the lights on and we'll have a look. All right, yeah, so those who follow the channel and maybe little bits of adventures will know that a couple of weeks ago I was having a bit of a bad time. I took the Vauxhall out for a test drive Nearly got wiped out by a lunatic woman in Costa, reversing into the side of us. Just say missed us. Slammed my brakes on, front brakes seized up, so I had to croak back home. And then sort of came home, licked my wounds, and then Sunday morning I thought, right, I'm going to go out in the old Swift. So opened the garage doors, and here presto, the whole ceiling was lying on top of a couple of cars. Anyway, the cars weren't badly damaged, to be fair. A couple of scratches which we polished out, and we got the joiners straight back in, and we seem to have repaired the ceiling. What we've done is we've repinned it. I'm going to flick the camera and show you. We've repinned the ceiling and fitted these air vents, because I think what was happening was it was very hot. We had a very hot spell, and I think the temperature inside the garage, the cold air was condensing against the red hot. Obviously the sunshine was belting on the flat roof. It's a felt roof, and the roof was red hot, and I mean red hot. We've left an expansion in that bit of timber, although it does expand over the top of these timbers anyway. Anyway, a couple of my guys who work for us, a couple of joiners, we're on the job, and we've done a spot on job as usual, and hopefully we'll put that to bed, and that'll be the last we see of that.